Hi, Ben Dupay here with Indie Comic Ninja. So last Saturday, Andrew and I had the chance to sit down with a comic book artist that I had never heard of, but previous to this last week. His name's Ryan Burke, and he's working on a comic book called Coronary. And this is kind of in my own words, I would call it like a cerebral comic book, or something that, is sort of about the fashion industry and how it kind of degrades society, and just some really cool societal implications in this comic book. I drew a lot of comparisons to like Alan Moore and his work on Watchmen and stuff, just in that sort of like society's kind of gone down the tubes kind of way. But we actually had the chance to talk to Ryan, and turns out he loves Alan Moore. He likes Neil Gaiman, so he has great taste in comic books, and that really shows through in his writing. If you want to check out and support Ryan, you can definitely go to his Kickstarter right now. That can be found on Kickstarter if you just type in the search bar like Coronary Comic Book or Coronary Ryan Burke. Definitely worth your time and attention. He's a great writer. He's up and coming, so check him out and enjoy the show.
So thanks for joining us, though. This is Andrew. We're the ones we were kind of chatting over Twitter and email, and I'm joined with Ben here.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, man?
Not bad.
Do you want to start just kind of telling us about yourself and how you're in Chicago? Is that right?
I'm just moved down from Chicago to Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
What brought you down to Missouri?
Well, I fell in love with an American girl, and then kind of going where she's going at the moment. So
that's cool.
That's why I'm down here.
That's awesome. And so, how long have you been in the States for?
Since about August. I want to say about 6 months,
okay.
Maybe 7.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so, like, how long have you been working in comics? This is your first. This Coronary, is that kind of like your first delve into comics, or?
Yeah, this is my first kind of huge project.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm writing the script for the past a couple of years, and then I'm just kind of first going into putting the artistic side into it. Which is cool.
So, do you want to just for our listeners give us a kind of a brief synopsis of your story and everything?
Yeah, basically, it's a world where plastic surgery becomes completely free for everyone.
And I'm
Everyone
sorry.
gets the body care.
Well, can we just for the listeners? What's this called again? What's your comic that you're writing called?
Coronary.
Awesome, Coronary. Okay, cool.
I hope that's the right pronunciation.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
No, that sounds great.
No worries. It's basically about a world where plastic surgery becomes completely free for everyone, and then all the characters are just kind of coming to terms with that. They're either for or against side, and they're all just kind of having a fight over what to do, basically.
Right.
Is that too general?
No, that's perfect. Yeah, and so thanks for sending. Ben and I both read the script, and it was kind of cool. Like, because I was really drawn into the artwork originally when I'd seen your post on Kickstarter, and so it was just really interesting to kind of see how that story kind of fit the artwork. Because when I was reading this, I was thinking the whole time how difficult this would be to draw because there's so much emotion and thought behind the characters. So that was just kind of a cool way or a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
And can you tell us kind of, what was it about this story, or like how long have you been thinking of this story, and why was it this story that kind of stuck out to you that you wanted to tell?
Well, I was just kind of like observing the world around me and just seeing there's so much. My main enemy here is beauty magazines and advertising.
Yeah.
And I was like, is no one fighting against this? I was like, surely there's got to be something. And I was reading 1984 at the time.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys have heard of it. And that was just kind of pulling apart the Soviet regime, and I was like, maybe I can write something to pull apart this regime. And I just kind of went from there.
Yeah, well, and especially I think that was the other thing that drew me was just the story itself, because just I think we're at a time in our society, especially in America, but all over, where body image and just those types of questions are really coming into the forefront about, what's normal, what's okay. And I think people are starting to discover, or just be okay with being different or finding beauty in themselves. So I don't know. I think that's a really cool story to be able to bring to people.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we both noticed too, in your script, you have a lot of reference to different fonts that are shown. Do you have some sort of advertising background yourself?
You're like a graphic design background or anything?
I don't. I've got nothing like that. I just kind of tried to be as anal retentive with it as possible. So
yeah.
What's the font that we need for this?
Great choices and fonts. Andrew and I both have a design background, so it's really good.
Yeah, it was easy to picture some of those adverts.
I'm flattered to hear it. I was reading a book and I had a great example of this where it was talking about Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
How crazy he was in picking everything. And him and his personal assistant used to talk until 4 or 5 in the morning about font choices. So it's important.
Oh, it's very important. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That's cool. I noticed, so when you're writing when I was reading your script, I kind of noticed the format of it, and I noticed also on your Kickstarter video you have an issue of Saga on your desk. I was wondering had you read in the back of one of their compendiums where they kind of went through how they make an issue of Saga and how they write their script and stuff. Was that any inspiration for you in writing your script?
Yeah, it was good. I really liked the little compendiums they have. I think book 1, I believe, is a really nice kind of bit at the back talking about how they do it.
Yeah.
It kind of struck a few chords, and I was like, oh, I do that.
Yeah.
Microsoft Word, making sure it all goes together correctly.
Yeah, because it's a very well organized script, man. I mean, just you go into a lot of detail on all the panels. It's really really good. So.
Yeah, I try not to be too. You walk in a fine line. You want it to entertain, but you don't want to bore everyone with the exact details.
Right.
Yeah,
Did you do much writing before this one comic book, or have you written short stories and stuff before?
Yeah, I had. That was my undergrad degree was in creative and professional writing. So I did tons of different stuff with short stories, short film scripts as well.
Very cool.
Film scripts is the most entertaining to me, so I kind of just branched it from there.
Yeah, and film scripts, man, that's kind of the closest thing to writing a comic book that you can get is writing a film script. I mean, you're essentially writing just a storyboard for a film almost, or a TV show. Yeah,
pretty much. It's as close as it could possibly be. I think that would be the closest cousin to it, if that makes sense.
Nice. So do you have a lot of plans for your story as far as an ongoing? How long are you wanting it to go on for?
The script is completely finished at the 12 issue mark.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
300 I don't know how many pages, about 330, 340, something like that. About 50k words in writing terms.
That is a hefty amount of writing, sir.
It is a beast, to say the least.
How long have you been working on that for?
I'd say probably a year and a half, 2 years, I'd say.
Oh, wow.
It kind of went a bit slow at first, so I had to try and get everything perfect. and then I got a soul-destroying job, and I was like, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we both. Yeah, I have a soul-destroying job as well, currently. So, yeah, right there with you. I think a lot of indie creators kind of struggle with that.
Yeah. It's one of those things, man. Especially people who are into comics. Because I was listening to a podcast the other day where it was someone was like, the only way you would write comics is just if you're like incredibly passionate about it, because it's so much work and so like crazy deadlines for a lot of work, and the pay isn't great and stuff. And the only people who really do it are people that are really passionate about it. So, and kind of see that through in your work. How did you seek out the artists for this book?
I was curious about that too.
Well, it's really weird because I was in Britain at the time and he was in Argentina, so it's a bit of a gap. But I was just kind of browsing lots of different artists and graphic designers and things like that. And I thought, I might as well just, because I've heard the best thing to do is just kind of put a forum post up, say looking for artists, and just see what sticks really. And I put a post up on DeviantArt a while ago, and I must have got like 40, 45 responses. Wow. And I had to just kind of sift through them all. And I think I struck gold. Joel was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and you can really tell, like, after you've, if you read the first part of the script by itself, what he's done with your words, it really, like, when I was reading your script, it was playing out kind of like a movie, and I just think he captured that so well. So, yeah, props to you for hiring a solid team.
Yeah, really good.
Did you find the creator community on DeviantArt? Like, did you get quite a few decent responses, that people you think that you could work with? Something you do again in the future?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Kind of, out of all responses, I got like 4 or 5 like really decent people to just kind of connect with. And even if we didn't work on that project, I've still got their
info, right?
Name in the back of my head just in case there's something new coming up.
Right. And do you have some? Do you have other stories that you're wanting to tell too, or is this kind of the one you're focused on right now?
This is my kind of my magnum opus.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just kind of plowing with this one. It's like, we've got to do this.
That's really ambitious to take that on as your first book. I mean, like that's such a large chunk of material for a first book. So it's pretty cool that you followed through and got an actual 12-issue script written.
Yeah.
And are you planning on kickstarting the rest of them, or are you going to kind of just kickstart this first one and then market the other books yourself?
I think I might continually kickstart, depending on how it goes.
Sure.
Like, if we got the first couple of issues off the ground, I could reasonably just go to cons and then sell them and then reinvest.
Yeah.
And nothing could stop.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Was it something you were wanting to like pitch to other publishers, or are you just wanting to self-publish this thing?
I think I'm just kind of self-publishing for now and seeing where it goes.
Cool.
So I'm still kind of cautious to give away any control quite yet.
Yeah, totally.
I describe it as a monarchy. Well, I'm in charge. So
yeah,
maybe later on we can get someone else involved, but it'll be good.
So we noticed too that your project is one that Kickstarter loved, and I've seen that you're featured on some other websites. Is that all just marketing that you've done, reaching out to people yourself, or did you have some connections before this? I'm always curious about how people market their Kickstarter campaigns.
Well, it was kind of connections that you went out and made.
Sure.
I'll admit I kind of rushed into it a little bit. So I just kind of started it and I was like, all right, who wants to see this? And I messaged all the websites and everything. And managed to get a couple of articles out, which was really good.
Nice. Very cool. So
it'll be very handy for the future as well.
So what are some of your favorite comic books or things that you sort of take inspiration from maybe or that you're currently reading? I know I saw Saga on your desk, so I know you got good taste.
Yeah.
Saga is phenomenal. I opened the first page and I was like, what? And there's some pretty bold spreads in there, to say the least. There's a lot of full frontal, etc.
Yeah.
Can they do this?
Fiona Staples actually just did, I was at the comic book shop yesterday, and there was like a comic on the shelf that was sealed, and there was a poster on the front that was like Fiona Staples cover XXX, and that's not safe for work. And I bought it, of course, because I love Fiona Staples, but it was just like is that same shock value thing that kind of Saga brings to the table. So, a lot of nudity.
Yeah, a lot of the C-bomb just casually thrown about.
Yeah, totally.
I think I have a thick skin, and then that just kind of blew me out. And I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I think most obvious answer to me is Watchmen. Watchmen is the kind of framework for this one, essentially.
Oh man, yeah, Watchmen is, and I can see that in your book, kind of like that gritty view of society and how it's sort of plunged into something not so good or whatever, and I can see those parallels between your book and sort of Alan Moore's story.
That just that warmed my heart to hear that. No way.
That's awesome.
But, had a moment. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, and Watchmen's, it's like the pinnacle of comic books for me. I mean, it's one of the all-time best.
It's one of the first ones that I actually read that kind of got me into being like, oh yeah, I want to read a lot more of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
That's
what else? What else are you into?
So I'll go with the obvious one. I'm just reading through Sandman at the moment. Just started on that.
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of guiltily late to a couple of these, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
Going through V for Vendetta. Killing Joke is a great one as well.
Yeah, man. That's such a polarizing book because there are members of like our podcast that love it, and then there are people that just fucking hate it. They can't stand it. So like, because like it's, there's the whole like rape thing with Barbara Gordon and like Batman laughing.
Oh, right.
Batman laughing with the Joker at the end or whatever, and that makes a lot of people mad. But it's also like, would that book have been so heavy if those things hadn't have happened? That's kind of the question.
Yeah, and I think that stayed in the canon, I believe. I think that's what made Barbara Gordon into Oracle.
Yeah.
In the book, so I'm kind of impressed they kept that in. To be honest with you, it seems a bit too far, if you know what I mean.
For a DC story, yeah, it certainly does. But Alan Moore he doesn't seem like the typical DC comic book writer either.
No, he doesn't seem like a typical anything at the moment.
No, that's very true. Yeah, he's very unordinary. Yeah, Sandman. Dude, you're like listing off some of my favorite comics because Sandman is like, I just read that about a year ago, I think, and I was super late to the party. But Neil Gaiman's a wonderful writer. Have you read any of his novels?
I haven't. No, that's another thing I keep meaning to.
Yeah, same here. I haven't either, but I've heard they're outstanding.
Yeah, he's just kind of the writer person. Like the only thing bigger than him is probably like Stephen King.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's fun. It's also funny because I find that when you're working on a book too, you said you're meaning to get to his novels, but like when you're working on a book, has it been difficult for you to also like read new things? I've also found that like as you create stuff, you just get so enveloped in that it's difficult to like get yourself out.
Yeah, I can agree on that. It is because you kind of focus on one thing specifically. Mm-hmm. But then I can also see that I was reading stuff on the side, and then that was kind of slipping into the work, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever read like a book or a comic and then did your own stuff, but I'm just copying what I've just read recently.
Yeah.
And you kind of put it away, but you realise everything's like not an adaptation as such, but everything has an homage to the thing before it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, everything's connected in that sort of way. So, I mean, if your work can reflect something awesome that you're reading, but in sort of a different light, then that's awesome, man. That's really good. So,
it's a lot like music in a way, where you can kind of listen and hear the influences of that musician that really looked up to, so on and so on. Like Marilyn Manson looking up to David Bowie and so on. Like, it's almost identical when you think about the whole.
So, and has that had a large influence on you as well? Because I noticed in your script you described some characters and you referenced the System of a Down video, and I know like music is really big for us in our artwork. Is that something that also influenced you while you were writing this?
Yeah, because music videos are they're such a great source of just visual images, like things that just really strike out to you, if you know what I mean. Like a lot of things that have stuck in my head have mainly been from music videos. I'm just like, what? How do I make that happen? That's such a cool idea. I'm going to steal it.
Yeah.
Put mine on it.
That's cool though. You don't really hear a lot of comic book writers taking inspiration from music videos and stuff. So I mean that's pretty cool. Taking, I guess now that I think about it, taking sort of the stylized things you see in music videos and adapting them to sort of the look and feel of your comic book. That's a good idea.
Because they've when you think about it, they've got like 3.5 minutes to condense a story into just images.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be tough. You got to, everything is selected for a reason. But it's the same with comic books as well. And you've only got 25, 30 pages to fill an issue, and you've got to put in very specific stuff.
Yeah.
To make it flow together.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was wondering with your creative team. Was it hard to translate? Did you just send them the script, or did you have like a script reading with them? What was the process like of getting your ideas across and getting a final illustration?
I mainly talked to Joel on this. He does the writing, he does the inking, the lettering.
Right.
And he's kind of my point man on this. And then he also works alongside with Damien. So they have like a friendship already. So that makes things a lot easier. Just kind of putting the message out, so to speak.
And are you guys all in the same place geographically, or are you all kind of in separate places?
You said they're both in Argentina, is that right?
Yeah, they're both in Argentina, and I'm in Columbia, Missouri, so we couldn't be further apart if we tried. Geographically, culturally.
Has that presented any difficulties, sort of like visually conveying how you want things to look and stuff, or have you drawn any thumbnails for them or anything like that?
No, actually. I just kind of left them to it to see what they come up with, and it was fantastic.
So they just kind of hit it on their first try.
Yeah, straight out of the park, which is good.
That's awesome.
It's really kind of heartwarming to know that they're doing a great thing with it, because every kind of link in the chain, there's like a tiny risk, like they won't get it. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
they've done such great work.
That's awesome.
It's great.
So who's your favorite comic book publisher? I guess I should say, if you were to be published by a comic book publisher, like who would you pick?
That's a tough one. It's a toss-up between Dark Horse and Image.
Yeah.
That's Dark Horse has that whole kind of like broody brand going on quite well, if you know what I mean. But Image is completely creator-owned, so they're just like, do your thing. Which I imagine is such a great compliment to a creator to have. So
is Dark Horse creator-owned as well?
I believe so. I'll double check.
Yeah, because I know. Yeah, they do indie titles.
I'm not too sure, actually.
I would imagine. I would imagine they probably are.
Yeah, I'd say. Anything that isn't like the big two, I might have a bit more say. So
do you read? I know.
Yeah, I'd say I'd stick to DC quite adamantly. Even though they kind of get, they're kind of pegged as like the broody type to Marvel's kind of crazy over the top everything. But that's not necessarily the case, because they still have like Teen Titans and stuff like that.
Man, DC right now has the best publishing. Like, oh man, with the Rebirth stuff they're doing. I run a DC Comics podcast too, and I love DC.
Yeah, I should have picked up Rebirth #1, because I'm like, it's like quadruple the price now. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I just heard that Dr. Manhattan's in it. I'm like, I need to have it now.
yeah, it's pretty cool. They're bringing. I don't know, Andrew, if you know this, but so DC kind of did another relaunch, probably 5 months ago or so
with the Rebirth.
Yeah, and they're bringing the Watchmen characters into the DC universe now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I don't think Alan Moore was too happy about that, but you know,
he's not too happy about anything. But
no.
I still love him.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
What another one?
None.
Another one, the Serious House on Serious Earth. That is, that is the first kind of one where I realised how artistic these things can be. It's just beautiful.
And it's called...
And the special edition of the script. And it's just like, oh my god.
What's it called one more time?
A Serious House on Serious Earth. It's Arkham Asylum. Kind of one where Batman goes into the... It's really cool. That's cool anything. So Grant Morrison.
Oh man, Grant! I haven't read that one, but I know Grant Morrison's awesome. He did a lot of JSA stuff too back in the day, right?
Yeah, he's
he's unbelievable.
Yeah, his scripts just blow everything out of the water.
That's cool. So I've heard lately about people getting like script reviews where they've submitted their scripts to different comic book writers in the industry. Is that something you've ever experienced or gone through before, or did you get any feedback on your script while you were writing it?
I did a little bit. I did the first two. Well, I feel very old right now, but the first two were done as my dissertation back at university. So I wrote the first kind of two episodes of the script and then did an outline for the plot. And that was my dissertation, which was quite nice.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome.
So were you able to get that critiqued in like an academic environment?
It was good. So you kind of throwed up things because we were kind of looking at it from like a novelist perspective. So I kind of threw in a lot of those elements that would traditionally be in prose, and then I throw them into like the comic sphere. I mean, like the basic stuff like 3-act structure, character arcs. They're all things that are part of comics as well. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to get a different perspective on that. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And would you say that your schooling and your background helped you more, or some of the experience that you've had outside of schooling? I know that's a huge question for like up and coming writers and artists both. Is what's the best way to learn?
It's honestly a hard one. I can only really say what worked for me.
Sure.
And that was getting the schooling, but it was in a different. It's a very kind of different situation between like Britain and America, as I'm sure everyone's aware. But in a certain situation where it's between getting schooling and being however many 100,000 in debt, whatever it is, I'd rather get the practical experience.
Sure. And is tuition costs in Britain? I mean, I'm not super familiar with their education system. Is it the same out of control like tuition costs?
Luckily, it's not, which is good.
Yeah.
It's restricted to about £9,000 a year. So think about $11,000.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So that's like the cap for it. And then it's all kind of controlled through the state as well.
Okay, and is that something too where people usually take out loans to pay for it, or are they like working internships or apprenticeships or anything like that?
No one takes out bank loans for it.
Okay.
We have like a student loan system within like the government, but it's kind of really, really tightly regulated. So you only get charged if you earn over a certain amount. Okay. And like 20 the maths in my head, sorry. You earn like $27,000. You get charged your student fees back, much like you would like a tax.
Oh, like when you go on to work?
Yes.
Okay.
But you're only charged that if you hit that certain amount.
Gotcha.
Cool.
No, that's really interesting. I mean, my wife is in education, actually. She's like an academic advisor, and it's just interesting to see the different schools of thought behind, education and schooling and what it should cost and what you actually get from it. So I think it's cool to hear about other types of systems that work.
It is good. Well, we're kind of having the opposite situation in Britain where everyone is overly qualified. Like, nearly everyone has a degree, but nothing to do with their field. We're pumping out 6 times as many English literature students as we are plumbers.
Oh wow!
So
plumbers are making a killing. English literature students not so much.
So if you're a plumber, you should move to Britain right now.
Yeah. Right now. So.
Go make money.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But yeah, degrees are an interesting topic of conversation. If you're definitely sure you're going to a specific field, like if you're a doctor, for instance,
Sure.
get a degree. I don't think you're allowed to not have one at this point. I should hope so.
Right.
Don't want anybody cutting into you without the proper knowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, quite.
So we have a lot of I guess aspiring writers and artists and stuff who listen to the show. If you could go back to your younger self and give yourself maybe some advice when you were, trying to, or the idea of this comic book was just sort of a seed that was planted in your head, what advice would you give to that version of yourself, or to the younger artists or writers out there who are maybe trying to get started in the industry?
It's okay to fail. Failure is good. That's it. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. That's how I always think about it. If you're always told yes to everything, you're kind of in a bubble. You've got to kind of push beyond that. And it's okay to get rejected. My rejections folder in my email inbox is huge. It goes past years. And another thing is never judge yourself too harshly on your first draft, because no one's, even if you're Neil Gaiman, your first draft is not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And it's okay to kind of have that. There's comfort in the process. No one's expecting it to be perfect first try.
Cool.
And how many revisions did Coronary go through? And, how did you know when you were done? I imagine that's a difficult thing to know as a writer, is when you're finally happy with a script.
I've finished revision number 5 now. I'm on for it. So I'm confident now this is perfect. Everything has been ironed out. All the capital letters are in there. All the formatting is perfect. It's good, and I can kind of tell what doesn't work and what does, if you know what I mean. If you finish a work and if there's still areas that kind of nag at you a little bit, like a little loose tooth, you're like, I need to fix that somehow.
Yeah.
All those things have been wiped away. I say that I probably have to do another draft on top of this, but for now I'm very confident in where it is. So it's kind of hard. You just know when
it's there. Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I can't remember from the Kickstarter, is this both going to be digital and print, or what's your means of production?
This will be digital and print. So we'll do a PDF copy of it.
Okay.
And send that out. We're also working with, it's a toss between a company called Kablam and Kraken Print.
I've heard of Kablam, yeah.
Yeah, I have too.
They're both really good. I'm just kind of deciding between them at the moment.
Nice. Yeah, doesn't Kablam, they print on demand for you, I think,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's a lot of different little companies like that. I'm just trying to balance out what's the quickest and the best.
Yeah. And nice. Do you get a price? Do you get a pricing break for a certain number of pages? Is it better to do that way, or is it better to do smaller issues?
The cheapest way, I think, a ton of independents are doing, is doing black and white 22s. So
okay.
Black and white 22 pages. That's kind of the cheapest way to do it.
Okay, but yours is full color, right? I mean, the art that I've seen, yeah.
No expense spared on it. I'm trying to make it as
top of the line.
Yeah, if this is to be my magnum opus, I'm not gonna scrimp on anything. So it's full color, right page thickness. It's all gonna be there.
So do you do? I mean, I know you're a comic book writer. Is that also your day job, or do you do anything else?
No, I'm a grad student who is also assisting a film crew as well.
Oh, cool.
So I've got a lot of different stuff going on. So I'm studying public affairs at the moment, which is like politics essentially, but
sure.
a little bit less bitchy at each other.
Yeah, it's an interesting time in America to be involved in anything political.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is an interesting. That is the best euphemism I've heard.
Yeah.
It's interesting time.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We'll stay away from that. I could go on for.
That's how we should have opened the show. It's like, hey, how about politics?
Yeah.
Right?
It's an
Right,
interesting time. It's good. And then I'm also a graduate assistant to a little film crew that's working at the university as well. So I kind of have a lot of different hats.
Yeah.
You working on a film then, or is that something that you're able to talk about?
It's a lot of different live streams, a couple of documentaries, lecture series, and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Like I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about this, but we just secured a deal for the Quidditch tournament.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Which will be down in Florida. So we're making a documentary about that. And doing a lot.
Awesome.
So I'm like, Quidditch? Yeah, I'm in.
Let's do it.
That's awesome. So what do you do for them? What do you do for the film crew?
Well, you kind of have the day-to-day catching up with emails and stuff. But a lot of it is shooting events, booking out the cameras, making sure the cameras are cool, because they are very expensive. They're more expensive than I am.
Yeah.
I have to worry about, Jesus, this is a 10 grand camera, and I'm just like throwing it around. Like, oh, God.
Yeah.
If this drops, I drop.
Yeah.
Do you get to have any input into the documentary itself, or into any of their production pipeline, like any of the camera angle shots or anything like that?
Yeah, we get to. I get to kind of. Sometimes it depends on when you're a director or not. You can choose angles, which you can do, and then swap between them. We have a lot of freedom in the editing stage as well. Like people want like promotional videos and stuff. Like there's one we're doing at the moment where there's like a texting scene, and me and my editing director are going to try and do it like Sherlock style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Where it like pops up at the side in like the negative space.
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Yeah.
I've been addicted. I love that show.
Yeah, man, it's great.
It is great. Because like, whenever you see like texting in a movie, it's like, oh, please. Because like everyone's phone is like grandma font, huge.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not realistic.
Yeah, and it just hangs in the shot. And you're like, please.
Yeah.
They're like waiting for the audience to read it. Like, good, we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's a really clever way that they did that. I never really thought about why that is, that it's so unrealistic in films, but I guess if you made it realistic, no one would ever really see it. So the way Sherlock approached that is pretty smart.
Yeah, because it's both like the cheapest and the best. Which is cool. Because I just put graphic up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Elegant solution. It's great.
Very cool. Awesome. So what's your Kickstarter address for the listeners out there?
It's Coronary / Kickstarter. Coronary / no, I got this backwards. Sorry. Kickstarter / Coronary episode 1.
Okay,
Cool.
great. And where can we? What do you have? I know you're on Twitter, but can you give us where we can find you online other than Kickstarter?
Cool. Yeah, that's at Ryan Burke Writer for Twitter, and I think I have a website as well. But yeah, that's the main kind of line of contact.
Cool.
Maybe I'll drop a message around and we can sort something out. So good.
Awesome. Yep. And on the Kickstarter, there's lots of. Are you funded on that yet? I checked
He's
it out.
about halfway, I think, right?
Yeah, but just about halfway. I think we're at 2,200
Nice.
out of the 5 that we need. So we're doing well. We're doing well.
Very cool. Yeah,
Looks good.
yeah. Everyone who's listening, please go check that out. It's a really, really cool project. Definitely worth the fun. There's some cool like goals on there where like if you donate a certain amount, you get a free digital copy or a print copy, and there's some other awesome stuff I noticed on there too.
Yeah, we've got stickers, posters, mini prints, the whole deal.
Yeah.
Sign anything.
Yeah, and see, so we're just up in Iowa, so we like to promote, Midwest. We like to promote indie creators, but especially Midwest creators. I think have our hearts a little bit more than anybody.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
An advantage. I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, awesome, man. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell the listeners or anything before you wrap up here?
No, I think that's more or less it. Just thank you very much for listening. Check out this podcast. It's good fun.
Awesome. All right. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Really appreciate you joining us this morning.
Always. Cheers. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Cheers. Yeah.